Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present and that this meeting has been duly called and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. And at this time, we're going to have a special guest tonight to lead us in the pledges. I'm going to have her come up here and introduce herself, and then would you all stand up, please, after that, and we'll do the invocation and the pledges.
Hi, my name is Osaragoye Obemudia. I am the National Junior Honor Society's president at Rodeo Palms Junior High. It is a great honor for my family and I to be here today, so may we all rise to say the pledge.
We're going to do the invocation first. He's going to give a prayer, and then we'll do the pledges.
Please bow with me. Dear Heavenly Father, please be with all those that are here tonight. Please be with all the children of ISD and their parents to help guide and direct them on their journey through their years. Please be on the hearts and minds of this room tonight and the members of the school board trying to direct and do the best for all our children. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. You may all be seated.
Thank you.
One thing she didn't mention about herself either is, like she said, she is the National Honor Society, and she is also a spot in the region treble choir at her school, and she is also a student athlete. So thank you very much for being here.
Who did you bring as your guest? Oh, welcome, Mom, Dad.
Welcome. Thank you. All right, next we have a superintendent's report.
Well, Happy New Year 2024. And this month, we're celebrating our actually locally elected school board members, community connected. Thank you all for your dedication and service to our students and our staff. I know that there's a lot of times you have to make difficult decisions, but it's always in the best interest of all and not just special interest. And so thank you again for all your service, and we'll have a little bit more recognition later for our school board. January is National Mentoring Month. We are celebrating the incredible yet mentors that we have here in Alvin ISD during National Mentoring Month. We appreciate the 160 individuals who dedicate their time and wisdom to help guide our students throughout the year. Their mentorship plays a vital role in nurturing their personal, emotional, and academic growth. Thank you again for making a lasting impact on our students' journey. And if anyone in the room is interested in mentoring, we do have information on our website with Ms. Passarella, and we can get you trained and signed up. And like I said, it's giving of your time and your heart to our students to make things so much better in their lives. On Friday, January the 19th, 2024, out at Heritage Center, Freedom Field, we will have our annual Alvin ISD Rodeo Art Open House. It will be from 5 to 7. And these last few years, we've had really a lot of entertainment. We've had the art show. We've had a live band. We have Jack's Burgers comes, Raleigh's Ice Cream, food trucks. So come out and celebrate the students and their talents and art, and also hear a little bit of music at the same time. It's a great evening, and it's free to get in. You have to buy the food, I think, right? And then, of course, we have our annual, it's always exciting, our 2024 Turtle Race and 5K Fun Run sponsored by our wonderful Alvin ISD Education Foundation. Turtles are on sale, so I know that they did a training with all the campus and administrative department administrative assistants. They're only $5 each. They're not live turtles. You don't take a turtle home, but you can adopt different types. I say different types, numbers of turtles. There's bunches, there's families. I can't remember what all the names of the turtles are. But several ways to adopt multiple turtles. You can sponsor campuses as well. Get a team together, get your staffs together, and join the 5K fun run and/or walk. And it will be hosted again at National Oak Park on Saturday, February the 10th. Fun run begins. There's actually a run for the kids, a run or a walk, 7:45 a.m. So come on out and be a sponsor, adopt your turtles, and it's a great day. Pray for no rain, too, so. And then finally, next Monday is recognition for Martin Luther King Day, so it will be a student holiday on next Monday.
Next, we have school board recognition.
Okay, board. January is School Board Recognition Month, and Alvin ISD is celebrating its trustees for their dedication and commitment to our district and our students. This year's theme is Locally Elected, Community Connected, which highlights the connection between school trustees and their communities. School board members are the largest group of locally elected officials in the state. Our board members are vital to the success of our district. Their dedication, vision, and commitment shape the future of our schools and our students. As a special thank you to our school board, we would like to present you with gifts of gratitude. I have a proclamation, though. Whereas the mission of public schools is to meet the educational needs of all children and to empower them to become competent, productive contributors to a democratic society in an ever-changing world. And whereas local school board members are elected by their community members to do what's best for all students, and whereas local school board members work closely with parents, educational professionals, and other community members to create the educational vision we want for our students, and whereas local school board members are responsible for ensuring the structure that provides solid foundation for our school system, whereas local school board members are strong advocates for public education and are responsible for communicating the needs of the school district to the public and the public's expectations to the district. Now, therefore, I, Carol Nelson, Superintendent of Schools, do hereby declare my appreciation to the members of the Alvin ISD School Board and proclaim that January 2024 as School Board Recognition Month in Alvin ISD. I urge all citizens to join me in recognizing the dedication and hard work of local school board members and in working with them to mold an education system that meets the needs of both today's and tomorrow's children.
Thank you.
So at this time, I'll have Ms. Rives come up and do you want to do a presentation for our members?
I do. So I want to personally thank you all for what you do for our school district, for the students, for the staff, for everybody. And I know that it's a tireless job, but you do it, and you do it with a smile on your face each time, and you are always there supporting. So I truly appreciate that from all of us. Thank you. I have some helpers that are going to help me. So if you bear with me a minute, I'm going to call their names. And if I call your name, if you'll come sit right here by Miss Peltier, will you wave to them so they know where they're going to come sit for just a second? So I have Mason Taylor. She's going to come help us. And Dylan Green. Will you come sit by right there by Miss Peltier? And then Andrew Sombrano and Ray Sombrano and Carter Blanton. So they're going to be our helpers today for me. So, board, when we call your name, if you'll come down, we have a special guest that will present you with a gift from the district, so from everyone. So hold on just a second, and we'll go from there. So we're going to start with Earl. If you would come up. And so I need, let's see, here's, so let's start with Mason. Okay, hold your hand out. We'll put this on your got it? And walk with me over here. Back to the awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Mason. Ms. Rives, do you want them to stay down there for a picture or no?
let's
Just,
stay down
okay,
for
just, yeah.
Okay, so we'll start right over here. Let's come down here. And the next one will be Gabe.
Trustee Garza?
Oh, Gabe. Who's the Dave? Pay attention, Dave. I thought so.
Thank you.
Okay, and then we have trustee Scott.
Trustee Johnson? It's heavy.
Trustee McCoyer, Peterson,
Trustee Peterson? Trustee Harris?
Who's next?
And Trustee Selsky? Okay, if y'all, want to center. Go ahead. Thank you all. So while they're coming back to their seats, this is an unpaid position. They get nothing but. They do not receive a stipend or anything, but they get to celebrate students like this as well as graduation and at different events, which really warms the heart. So thank you.
Absolutely.
We have one more surprise for you. This surprise comes to you from Pomona Elementary. They sent a special video for you. So if you would like to play that.
Like a math problem, they draw on it. The school board is when you write on the school board or a calendar. And write on the wall, a school board. It's a
Skateboard.
skateboard. Pomona says a board that's for school. A board that you write on. The school board is like something I don't know.
Honesty.
It's like a boy at school. Something that you write on and teachers write on at
It's a good guess. We've been doing this wrong.
Right.
I think it's a white. I think it's kind of like a chalkboard. It's a board for school.
Thank you. That's awesome.
That was good.
Oh.
What we got?
When Cruz's brother's teacher, my grandma, Miss Hastings, Miss Walker,
What was the question?
maybe Miss teachers. Thank you so much for all you do. Thank you 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 for all you do.
On behalf of the board, I want to say thank y'all very much. That video right there made my year.
Right.
And it's just starting, so thank y'all very much. Next, we have commendations.
And welcome. We're very glad that you're here. We have some special commendations today to present to you. So a little bit of information. On December 2nd, Alvin ISD had 25 athletes compete in the Area 22 bowling competition. This is for our Special Olympics bowling. The Panthers came home with 9 gold medals, 6 silver medals, 4 bronze medals, 1 4th place ribbon, 2 5th place ribbons, 1 6th place ribbon, and 2 8th place ribbons. Congratulations to all of our athletes for an outstanding job. Let's give them all a hand. And now when I call your name, if you'll come up and get your award, okay? So we're going to start with gold. So the ones that won gold were Enriquez Garcia won gold. If you want to come up, if you're here. Elijah Perry also won gold. And parents, I forgot to say, this is the time for you to take pictures. Please step into the aisle. We would love for you to get the pictures of this special moment for all of them that will be honored. So, Elijah. Okay, Beto Garcia also won gold. Alexa Chavez also won gold. Layla Shafi also won gold. Francisco Barajas also won gold. Dylan Green also won gold. So Dylan's right up here. Dylan, you want to walk up there? There you go. Andrew Sombrano also won gold. Carter Blanton also won gold. Picture of them, and then we'll go to the next group. You smile real big. Awesome. Parents, yes, please. get
Parents,
those
take your pictures.
photos.
Take your
Yes.
pictures.
Okay, thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Back to sit where you were if you were up front, or you can sit up front, however you want to do it. Next, we have the group that won silver. So we have Jamari Clemens, won silver. Grayson Almanza won silver. Mason Wisnowski won silver. Addison Rideau won silver. Dalton White won silver. And Joshua Cardell won silver. go to the bronze. So we have DJ Spells, 1 bronze. Joshua Thomas, 1 bronze. Liliana Renovado, 1 bronze. And Brandon Chavez, 1 bronze. Asher Salcedo came in 4th place. Mason Taylor came in 5th place. Rodolfo Medina came in 5th place. Ariana Cardenas came in 6th place. Roy Marquez came in 8th place.
There you go, miss.
Roland Good came in 8th place. There we go. And yes, please come take your pictures and. Thank you. Oh, we have one more. Okay.
Okay, good.
Great. Come on up. And what's our name so I can. Liliana. Okay. Well, welcome, Liliana.
Oh, Liliana, yeah, Renovado, yeah. 1 bronze.
Wonderful.
Let's get a picture.
Yes, definitely. There. Very good. Let's give all of these athletes another hand. Good job for you two. It takes a lot go into the practices and to do everything, so we do greatly appreciate all that you do.
Congratulations.
Yes. Okay, we have a staff commendation. The Association of School Business Officials International, sorry, thank you. Thank you. Recognized Alvin ISD for excellence in budget presentations with the okay, help me with this. Meritorious, thank you. I was looking for you, Daniel. I knew you would know. Meritorious Budget Award for the 2023-24 budget year. The award is presented to entities that exemplify the greatest levels of transparency with regards to their budgeting practices. That's a huge deal. So I would like to ask Sonia Hawkins to come up. Sonia is our budgeting director, and she worked very hard on this. We appreciate everyone that did because it takes the whole team. But Sonia really worked hard to put this together, and that's a big deal. So Sonia, we appreciate all that you do for our district and keeping us transparent and keeping us doing what we need to do. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Sonia.
Yes, thank you. Now we have a special presentation for the board at this time. So we would like to call John Hasso Sr. from the Brazoria County Veterans Organization to the podium with some friends for a brief presentation to the Board of Trustees.
Okay, my name's John Hasso, and let me tell you let me introduce the folks. I don't want to be rude. The young lady here is Sonia Broadway, who is a Brazoria County Veteran Service Officer for Brazoria County. Represents all the veterans here in Alvin also. Robert Martinez is a member of our committee, steering committee. Ruben Hasso is Assistant Chairman, of the Veterans Committee that we have in Missouri County. And real quick, give you a little background to how we got this. About 26 years ago, I had a dream that the Lord came into my dream and told me that He wanted a Veterans Day parade. And I told Him, well, Lord, why are you picking me? And He said, don't worry, I'll be with you every step of the way. Mind you, that's 26 years ago. Missouri County has grown. Back then when I started, Missouri County had 28,000 veterans in Missouri County. 28,000. And each and every year, we've gotten more. But at the same time, I asked Sonia to run me some numbers, and we're down to 18,000 people. It just goes to show how many veterans we're losing each and every year, okay? And the reason I'm here is because we're celebrating 25-year anniversary. And it's not 26 because I canceled the Veterans Day Parade on 2020 when we had the pandemic. But I wanted to recognize all the towns and all the school districts that were involved in helping us get some of the veterans out of the woodworks, get them out of the shadows, get them around veterans that would open them up. Veterans open up more when they're around veterans because they can understand. And that was the whole idea of the Veterans Day Parade. We've been very fortunate to take it around the county, and every town and every high school in this county has participated. Alvin Independent School District hosted the Veterans Day Parade in 2002 and 2008. And I know it's a different board, it's a different city council, but the fact of it is that we have veterans in Alvin, and we want to recognize the school board because they're the ones that are in the middle of all of this that was going on. So I call up here because I want to recognize the Alvin Independent School District Board of Directors for allowing Alvin kids to be a part of the Veterans Day Parade, and I'm here representing all the veterans of Missouri County. So I would like to, Sonia Broadway, would you come down, sir? I'm going to have Sonia Broadway present the plaque for the Alvin Independent School District. You want to get over there in the middle?
In the middle.
You can get over there in the middle. We're going to present it to them, and then we're going to take a few pictures, and then we'll get out of your way, okay?
Thank y'all.
Thank you for allowing us to come up here and show our appreciation. We got 5 different groups of veterans that I sent out to all the counties. I can't present them to all, but I want people to see that they're different veterans. So I got 5 different groups of veterans, just like us 4, going out to different towns. Each one has to present to 3 different school boards and 3 different city councils. So you'll see some of the pictures in the paper. We'll be putting it out. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I did want to take a little deal at this time. We've done the commendation, so if any students need to go home and do homework and stuff, y'all are more than welcome to leave at this time. If you don't have homework to do and you want to stay, great. I'll give y'all a few minutes if y'all are going to leave.
Welcome.
Thank you for
Thank y'all.
coming.
Thank y'all.
Congratulations.
Go Texans. I see a couple of those jerseys.
Yes. Bye, Mason. Bye. Bye. Thank you for coming.
Thank y'all for Thank you. coming
tonight.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right, now we've got some presentations. Carol?
Yes, Board. So this evening, we have Ms. Brandy Johansson, Director of CTE, and Catherine McLaren, our Assistant Director of CTE, and they will provide us an update on the district's current career and technical education programs, certifications, advisory committees, as well as student internships. So ladies, if you come up and share the great news.
Us a few moments to talk to you about the CTE department this evening. But first, I wanted to thank you, Board, sincerely, on behalf of the CTE department, the Career and Technical Education Department. For those of you who don't know what CTE stands for yet, it's Career and Technical Education. It is a rarity where there is not a board member present at a career and technical education event or somehow involved, and I know that takes a lot of extra hours and dedication, so thank you. Our students, our staff appreciate you for everything that you do. We do have a gift for you, and Catherine will talk about the details of that gift a little bit later. So again, just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the CT department and kind of inform you about some things and hopefully have an opportunity to answer some questions. The vision of CTE, do we have a clicker or do I need to?
Is there a clicker?
Oh, there we go.
There is, okay. There we go. Thank you, Louie.
The vision of CTE has always been about getting students ready, giving them the knowledge and the skills so that they are ready to enter the workforce upon graduation or to enter post-secondary training or college in their chosen career field. And we do that in a lot of different ways, hands-on learning, real-life experiences, college and career readiness, employability skills. Those are all important aspects of it. For 23-24, as of these numbers were updated last week, we have 6,602 high school students enrolled in CTE courses, 884 junior high students, and we have CTE courses at every secondary campus in Alvin ISD for a total of 115 courses, and we have 113 instructors in the CTE department this year. Okay, so our students that graduate, our CTE students that graduate typically have an endorsement of business and industry, public service, or STEM. And in the CTE world, our subject areas, if you will, are considered clusters. They're called clusters. And so there are 14 of them for the state of Texas, and they call them career clusters. Alvin ISD has had 13. Starting next year, we will have a program of study in all 14 state career clusters, so that's exciting. And we'll talk a little bit more about the details of what's being added later. If you break those clusters down a little bit further into more specific areas, those are called programs of study. And so in the past and this year we have 29 programs of study, but we are bumping that up to 31 starting next school year. So that's also very exciting, more opportunities and choices for students. And again, we'll talk about the details of what we're adding later. Okay, so these are the 14 career clusters that are recognized by the state of Texas. And energy is the one that we're adding this year, so we'll have 14 starting next year. All of our programs of study end up in a practicum experience. That's the ultimate goal, right? For our students to have a real life experience, skills, practice. And so some of those programs of study finish or complete, and students have the practicum at their comprehensive campuses, and some of them finish at our J.B. Henzer College and Career Academy. This visual shows you, and the ones that are outlined in red, those finish all solely at the comprehensive campuses. And we have different programs of study within each of those clusters. So again, programs of study are just have a breakdown. It's a course sequence that's recommended to help students be the most successful in their career field that they've chosen. And that course sequence gives them the knowledge and skills towards that career field to be successful. They also provide real-world experiences and hands-on learning, but they also, a lot of them will culminate in an industry-based certification or licensure. So there's a lot of information on programs of study. You can find a lot of it in our course guide posted on the Alvin ISD website or on our department page. Okay, I wanted to share a little historical data with you this evening. And so if you look in the left-hand column, that shows over the past 4 to 5 years how many students we've had enrolled in CTE courses. And so we stay around 74-75% of all our high school students are enrolled in a CTE course. So that's a large number, and we hope that continues to grow and increase with the new options that we have. Number of students taking a certification exam. going to speak to certification exams quickly, and we'll go into it more later, but certification exams are through industry. They're not something that a teacher writes a test for or that the school district writes a test for. They're all industry-based and recognized by industry. And so when we look at that second column of students taking a certification exam, we track our success rate and how kids are being successful with those. And so you can see that that has stayed between 87 and 93%, and we look for that to start increasing pretty steadily as well. Total number of certifications earned by students. Students can take a test and pass it, but not necessarily earn it, because sometimes there's some additional hours that they have to complete, or they have to have a driver's license or things like that. So they don't earn it completely just because they pass the test. So the third column is looking at certifications, or licensures earned by students. That is broken down into two numbers. You can see one says IBC, and we're going to talk about that, but IBC those are specifically certifications recognized by Texas Education Agency, and they go into our CCMR for accountability purposes and measuring. So the last column shows you specifically our seniors for each graduating class. Out of all of the seniors that graduated that year for all of Alvin ISD, that's the percentage of students that graduated with a certificate or a licensure, a TEA recognized certificate or licensure. And so that number is steadily increasing as well, and we expect it to continue.
Hey, Brandy,
Hey,
can I
ma'am,
ask real quick, what does the IBC stand for? Is it
Industry-based certification.
Okay.
And so this chart will show we're calling them non-IBC versus IBC because the TEA recognizes IBCs, and they have an IBC certification list that they post every 2 years, and that's the one that we're held accountable for. Although we know that there are other certifications that industry offer, but that aren't on that list. And so the IBCs are the ones that the state monitors and measures us with. But there are also other ones that we offer through Alvin Independent School District that are not on that IBC list, but with good reason. And the easiest example for that is Texas food handlers. So it doesn't matter if you're at the GBH Bistro or if you're at your neighborhood Chick-fil-A, all of those people working in that restaurant area have to have Texas food handlers, and that's determined by the state of Texas. So our students will get some certifications in the progress of working towards another certification that's on the IBC list. So those students in that example would be working towards food managers.
Hey, ma'am,
Yes.
on the slide you were just on, the increase in seniors getting an IBC every year, that's a dramatic increase. Yes. How do we account for that?
So since 2018, really, career and technical education has become more of a part of accountability, and so we've really started to focus on it more and look and start having data conversations. We're having much more in depth now, and starting to educate teachers, counselors, because it's become more and more part of the accountability system. But that is, as we open JBH with the board support, and we continue to build those career and technical education programs and build in pathways for students to get those certificates, their certifications and licensures, so that they're more prepared. So it's been very intentional, but it's exciting to see that we continually progress, and I expect those numbers to jump again as well.
And had it not been for COVID in 1920, those numbers could have been higher, but the majority of the IBCs that our students earn are done in the spring semester. So, we didn't have students then.
Right,
Some of those kids have multiple IBCs.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
That's great.
So
That's
they
a
can earn
fantastic
multiple.
result. I mean, that's a great
Yes.
result.
JBH, the academy opened in what, 18, 19, right?
17,
17, okay.
Yes. And those programs are continually growing. We'll do one program spotlight in a moment to talk about the growth in those programs, but we're seeing growth in most of our CTE programs.
But you see how many students participate. If we had a full-day program like maybe another district does, it would be fewer students that had the opportunity. Does that make sense? So that's been one of the reasons we haven't gone to just a full-day comprehensive type campus, was because it didn't provide the opportunity for more students. It limited, actually. Correct?
But let me
It
ask
does.
you
It's
this, but even if we had like a full day, I mean, how much higher can you go than an IBC? I mean, if there's an industry recognizing the student's accomplishment, I don't know how much higher you can get than that. Is there another level that somebody can get out of high school?
I think there's additional IBCs or level 1 and level 2 courses recognized, which is also an indicator for CCMR. But it's just getting them more and more prepared and getting them more experiences with outside industry and
But there's
mock
fewer
interviewing, things
seats
like
is what I
that.
mean. With an all-day, you have fewer seats available.
So fewer kids can participate.
Correct.
I was going to ask about that. I was going to wait to the end, but we're on the topic now. I was just interested in that. I know, and I may be premature in discussing this, but with the growth of the district, and we see the trends and the popularity of these courses, and we know, kids aren't going to four-year colleges like we are, and that's totally fine. Are we on a path, or do we envision a day where JBH may be its own standing high school where, and it's going to require kids to make tough decisions, but that's such is life. And I know we have kids that are involved in sports and band and extracurricular activities that it's pulling on them, and the scheduling is tough because they can only do so much with the two electives that they have. And I understand the numbers may reduce, but it also will come back up with the success. I mean, we've seen the numbers being able to creep. So I don't know if that's in the pipeline or how and I may be out of line, Carol, sorry.
No. I mean, there's pros and challenges for each model, I guess. It's just
And that's
kind of
another
looking
thing
at-
that we
Yeah.
continually look at is kind of best practices and what is everybody else doing and what are the pros and cons to each one. It does usually come down to electives, those other electives, choir, band, athletics, things that are very, very important to a student. It makes it challenging if they're spinning, because most of these CTE courses, when you get to your junior, senior level, are not just 1 hour blocks, they're 2 to 3 hour blocks. So if you have to take your elective and it takes up half of your day by your senior year, it limits you. And then we get, it gets tricky with the master schedule because athletics may be only offered one period, or another certain elective that's important to you may be only offered one period for the level that you're at. And then the CTE course is only offered at one level. So we really try to work when we get those individual circumstances and a kid that really wants to do both, but it's tricky logistically.
And just the logistics with time, bus travel to and from the campus, I mean, would that allow them to take an extra class versus riding a bus back to and from? I don't know. So you guys doing a great job. I just wanted to see where we are in that planning or forecasting. if
Well, and
that's
it's a
something-
perfect example, like my Yet mentee at Manville High School, he's on the football team.
Yeah.
But he goes for 2 periods to the hospitality and tourism. And so he's gone for those, but he has to come back for football practice. So he had to do that in the fall. And so to him, he obviously football's priority, but he also wants the
Yeah.
experience at JBH.
I'm a big listener of Mike Rowe, so I know that there's a huge need for this probably in our country now more than ever. So I'm just wondering what obstacles you run into that the board can get out of the way for you.
scheduling,
The master schedule.
master schedule.
Master schedule.
Yeah.
Half day for high school, just.
Across the
Well,
board,
and
right?
what percentage of our CTE classes are offered on the high school campuses? Because
question.
there are some that are offered on the high school campus where they don't, right, have to be on a bus and have that travel time. So
Absolutely.
What-
So most of our basic course, our level 1 course is offered at the high school comprehensive campuses. So things like auto basics, the first course in that program of study that students need to take. So we have CTE courses at all. Now I'll go back a couple slides. That diagram shows you that those 3 that are red are those only, they solely finish at the comprehensive campuses. Some of the other ones, both, they could take a program of study that ends at JBH, they could take one that ends at the comprehensive campuses. But CTE is across the district. It is, JB Hensler's kind of our spotlight, our shining star. That's where a lot of our really nice industry equipment is for most of our areas. But we have, CTE is in every secondary campus across the district, and we're very proud of that.
Very good.
I know I am way behind on
No,
time now,
that's
so
okay.
sorry.
You're good. It's good stuff.
I need to go forward. Any other questions before I move on? So again, with those certifications, if we're calling them non-IBC, TEA does not have they don't monitor how we report those non-IBCs that they're not endorsing. So we're going to continue to report those numbers for everyone, but that's the distinction, the difference is that they're not on the TEA IBC list. but they're still important. Okay, this is just kind of showing you accountability changes over the last few years. I'll point out this year, the graduating class of 2024, in the past, they could take and earn that certificate or licensure, and we were awarded credit for a CCMR. That student was awarded their point. Starting with the class of 2024, they also have to have the program of study course that's linked to that IBC and at a level 2 or 3, 2 or higher. So we'll monitor that. We do kind of expect, we've had about an 8 to 9% increase in our seniors that are graduating with a certificate or licensure. So I would love to say we're going to be at 20% this year, but there are some variables like that, the changes in accountability, and we're going to have to catch up to that. So I do anticipate another 10% increase, but I think it's going to be a couple more years before we can get significantly higher than that.
So if I'm hearing correctly, it's going to be tougher to make this apply to CCMR?
Correct.
Okay.
And every year, they've increased the expectations. So this year, they have to have the course aligned at a level 2 and pass the certification. Next year, they'll have to have 2 courses aligned and so on. Yeah, so they're just raising the expectations. We did, in the fall, certification analysis. We looked at every certification and licensure that the district offers in Alvin ISD to look at really, are we providing what's the most appropriate and most effective certifications and licensures for these kids? Is this what industry wants right now? Is it what TEA is endorsing? Does it make sense in the kids' schedule? We were offering a lot of certificates in the freshman year that weren't valid. They were only 3-year certificates, so by the time they graduated, they didn't help the student. So that's just one example, but there are a lot of different variables that we looked at to do that analysis and make sure that everything that we're offering now is the best possible, gives the best possible opportunities for students. And then the course program analysis, we do that every year annually and look at everything that we're offering to make sure, again, that it makes sense and it's still current. We take into account, obviously, everything that TEA is enforcing, everything that they're updating, new proposals, things like that, what we think might, or we try to anticipate what might be coming. But then we also, for the courses and programs, look at Texas Workforce Commission information. So we're looking at what is the salary for these positions. If we're pushing kids into this pathway, are there going to be jobs when they graduate? So we're trying to push them and use that Texas Workforce information to make sure that we're creating the best opportunities for kids so that when they do graduate, they have plenty of opportunity in the workforce and for their chosen career field. We also have to look at cost of implementation, spaces, and lots of other factors. I'm going to give it to Catherine now so she can tell you about some of the more fun things in the department.
Okay, so as Brandy mentioned, we are adding some new courses for the 24-25 school year, specifically 3 courses. The first one is digital design and multimedia production, esports. So we're trying to reach those kids that maybe don't have a place already that they fit in. In addition, we know that the chemical plants are all around us, and so we're implementing a focus, an energy program of study focused on process technology. So the first class for that will be Foundations of Energy. The plan is to offer those 2 classes at all of the comprehensive high schools, and then we'll build those programs out by adding an extra course every year over the next 4 years. In addition, at the junior high, we're adding career and college exploration, and the hope is that through this course, our junior high students will be better prepared to make an informed decision of what they take in high school because they will have had exposure to all that we offer in CTE.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
About process technology and having the foundations and then adding more and more courses to develop those students. Is there going to be a collaboration like with local Alvin Community College or Brazosport College because I know they have strong process tech programs, so.
It's already started.
Awesome, good.
Yes, ma'am. We've actually went to go do a tour and speak with that. Their program at ACC is very successful.
Very.
And we are on the one of the CAP meetings for the local industry.
Good.
And so we hear quite often that they're looking, they report every month, or sorry, it's every 3 months in their meeting, what positions they're hiring, how many, and it's process tech all day long, and engineers. And so, yeah, we've already started that process and taken a tour and looked at the equipment that we have to see how we can build that out.
That's great. Perfect for this area. In addition, our senior level classes, some juniors, but mostly senior level classes, the idea is to get the students as much real-world experience as possible. So we do this through one of two ways, career prep and practicum experiences. These can be either paid or unpaid. So kind of think of it as like an internship. Those fall into two different categories. The first one is community-based. These students go to local vet clinics, local healthcare agencies. We have students in the law enforcement that go and work at Pearland PD. So they go out into the community and work with different organizations. Depending on what we have, we also work with our Alvin ISD auxiliary department, specifically maintenance, transportation, and IT. Then we also have campus-based, and these students are running businesses out of their classes. So, for example, the floral shops, the pet spas, the auto shops. And so they're getting the real-world experience. They're just doing it in their labs and shops at JBH and the floral on their home campuses. So we do also have a vital part of CTE are our industry partners. They help us give us recommendations on what courses we need to add, what new equipment to try to stay as up to date as possible. These are just some of the ways that they work with us, internships and apprenticeships, guest speakers. These are some of our industry partners, not all, but these are some that we partner with. And if you'd like more information on industry partners or becoming an industry partner, you can scan the QR code and it takes you to our CTE website. So as Brandy mentioned, we're going to highlight one of our programs, and the one that we're going to highlight today is welding. So our welding numbers have grown over the last 4 years or 5 years, 37.5% district-wide since 2019-2020 school year. So our Intro to Welding class is offered on all of the comprehensive home campuses, and then for levels 2 through 4, they come to JBH. And Brandy talked about salary. The entry-level base salary for a welder in the Gulf Coast area is $51,460. So they're getting that, possibly getting that coming out of high school.
And most of them work overtime, so that's just the base. That's low.
And so seeing the need for that we have in welding based on the numbers, in the spring of '23, we applied for the JET grant through the Texas Workforce Commission, and in August of '23, we found out that we were awarded $317,604 for the JET grant, and with that, we were able to purchase equipment to help bring our welding shops more up to date. And that benefited all of our high school campuses plus JBH, the equipment that was purchased. So we do have a big partnership with Alvin Community College, even through our welding program. They helped us with the JET grant as making equipment, giving us equipment advice, also working with curriculum collaboration. They also help us by allowing our teachers to come out in the summer and work with them to earn some PD working there. We also do articulated credit with our welding students. That just started this year. And we serve on each other's advisory committees. One of the outreach programs that our welding students at JBH did was in November, they created 24 door entry ramps, battery rams for the Manville Police Department. So these are from first semester updates. It seems like CTE never slows down. There's always something going on. But most of you are familiar with our Alvin ISD show that occurs in October. And I can say that this year's Alvin ISD show was the most successful that we've had to date. We were able to earn, or we earned more money at that show than we have at any other show in the past. So which then coincides to more money for going back to our students. In addition, we like to work with other departments as much as possible. So the STEM Academy contacted our ag teachers at Manville High School, and those STEM Academy students went to Booth Barn and looked at and studied the feeding of different animals, just what criteria they need to make sure that they're healthy. And then took that information and went back to their school and developed prototypes for an automatic feeder that then they presented to the community.
Very cool.
So spring, we have lots of events. The first one that I want to point out to you is our career extravaganza. That's going to be on February the 3rd, 2024, and that's from 9 to 1. It is open to everybody in the school district, students K through 12 and their families. It is a free event. We would love for y'all to come out. If any of you are business people and would like a booth at that time, then we can get that set up for you too, to promote your business. In addition, it's ag major show season. Our ag students will be traveling from January to March, going to different major stock shows. And our CTSOs, Skills USA, FCCLA, DECA, TSA, and HOSA, will also have their programs from January to April. Those are area, region, and state. And our HOSA group is hosting at Manville High School this weekend. So if any of y'all have time in your schedule and you'd like to see some great presentations, that'd be awesome.
These are just some of the events.
Right.
There's events all day, so we'll keep you posted on those. Are there any other questions? I know we're way over on our time.
I know we're over, but
Thank
I
you.
just feel like I have to say it. Two things. This is great. Like the progress of the CT department, I think, is impressive, and I just want to reiterate, whether I'm still sitting in this seat or not, I'd like us to consider somewhere down the line. I'm gonna give a sports analogy. Shocker. You know, there's one guy on the team that takes snaps, right? And the more snaps that person takes, the more comfortable they are, the more poised they are, the more ready they are for the real world, right? Or that game. And the more opportunities these kids get to weld or construct or HVAC, and I know it's a burden on the admin team or the schedule, but I think we have a board that supports whatever we need to do to promote this program. And it's going to be tough on those kids because I know they want to play sports and I know they want to be in the band, but as you become an adult, you have to make choices. And if we get a kid that can gravitate to something that they're passionate about as a teenager, and we can keep that kid engaged in the school system by letting them do something that they are really, really skilled at and passionate about, I want to make sure we provide that opportunity. So thank y'all for what you're doing.
These are our gifts to you, and we've called this a cozy crate, and everything in it was built or made by our students in various departments. So the construction course at JBH built the crate themselves. Our Manville High School Engineering Department made your coasters. Our JBH floral design, sorry. Floral design group made you candles. Our culinary team at Alvin High School made you hot cocoa bombs. JBH Culinary, you have cookies, and our fashion design class at Shadow Creek did beanies and scarves.
Wow. Very cool.
Wow. Thank y'all very much.
So board, don't forget to grab those before you leave this evening.
Thank y'all very much for what y'all
Thank
doing.
you.
Shows
Thank you.
Great job.
CTE is on the rise and incredible.
Good job.
Thank y'all very much.
That's cool. Very good.
All right. Our next presentation, Carol.
So this evening, board, we have Meredith Wasick from Stantec, and she's going to be presenting on the Alvin ISD education specification guidelines that she has worked on for many, many months. Meredith?
Good evening. Thank you for having me up here today. Just a quick little note, Mark Jackson sends his regrets that he couldn't be with us tonight. And for those of you that have worked with Mark for a long time, you might congratulate him. He was recently promoted to principal at Stantec. So he's under the weather tonight, but would normally have been here. So, thank you for all of your service and your work and for having us out here. We're going to give you a brief review of the purpose of these education specifications, the process we followed, and the outcome to get you to this document. It looks lengthy in your electronic file. We're not going to go through every page, don't worry. Really, the purpose of writing these education specifications was to meet a new TEA guideline that came out in in November of 21. The idea behind these education specifications from TEA is that it will communicate your current expectations to any architects on future buildings. While TEA says that you can adopt them and leave them in place for 5 years, what we know is that what we decide today may need to be updated more frequently than every 5 years. And Alvin, as a school district, and you as a board can ask for that to happen. Highly likely, and we're already seeing it with districts that are putting these into place, maybe put them into place 6, 8, 10 months ago, and now are in a design phase. Oh, we need to update. So should that happen, please don't be alarmed. That is very normal, and it is well within the district's right to do that. So it is to form a consensus. So right now, in Alvin, you already have a lot of documents that serve as guiding documents. This is not to take that place, but rather to redirect architects to use what exists in your your repertoire of guiding documents for us. So quick overview, the way that we've written this document for you is to allow for significant flexibility. That is not necessarily always the case, and I'll give you a very specific example. We know that when you look at the square footage on the elementary building inside this document, it looks much smaller than what you are used to seeing. We have done that because this is the minimum standard. And so anything that is written here says this is the base. You can always go up. And so we wanted to be very cognizant of the fact that this is the bare minimum. What do you currently have in place so that all of our buildings seem to relate to one another? We didn't want to write an ed spec that has an elementary school 20,000 square feet larger than what you have today, and then that becomes wasted space. And so there is a lot of flexibility written into this. If you read the detail, it will say refer to or confirm at the time of design. That is the flexibility that allows the district to operate within it. As we've said, numbers are just to establish a bare minimum. However, it is important to understand that this does meet TEA requirements. So as we talk about square footage minimums, that is where TEA has made the biggest changes in libraries, science rooms, square feet per child inside of a classroom. And this does align with TEA minimum standards. It does drive the architects to your standards, your building standards that already exist in your construction department. So it is not meant to take the place of that, but used as a reference point. The way we got here is we used your existing resources that were already in place. We had many meetings with lots of people that are sitting in this room. So I will say to everybody sitting in this room, while we heard, oh, we'd really love to have, and I'll pick on CTE since they just gave a fabulous presentation. We'd really love to have welding spaces that allow for, call it 50 square feet per child. That is not written into this document because this is the minimum standard. And so the team heard loud and clear, the Alvin team heard loud and clear about some things that they would like to have in the buildings in the future, but I don't want anybody that sat in those meetings to be surprised that you may not see everything you requested inside of this document. Your district leaders were part of that, so we've been going through a several-month process and reviewing to ensure that what we're bringing you tonight best suits Alvin ISD's needs. So to look at it, really what you'll see is you'll have a lot of pages that are color-coded, but this is the summary of where we've landed as far as an elementary school. When you see the square footages, basically in an administrative suite, you would have about 8,500 square feet. Important to understand if you'll look down at the bottom gray line and the black lines, and I'll explain the differences. When you talk about net usable space in the building, that is your offices, that is where you can put students, but that does not account for the square footages that are tied up into things like a restroom or a corridor or the amount of space it takes to build all of those walls, which is why you have a grossing factor. We have used a grossing factor of 40%, because we know that there is the need for different building materials and the number of restrooms, the number of elevator shafts or where those are located are very much driven by design. So while this specification calls out a 40% grossing factor to get you to a total square footage of an elementary school sitting around 98,000 square feet, that grossing factor may change depending on design. If you build a rectangle box, it makes it much easier than if you build a building that's got nice curves and you've got different aesthetic features inside of it. So again, the flexibility is inside your document to change those grossing factors dependent on design. If you look on the right-hand side, you'll notice two numbers that have asterisks beside them. So your total student capacity and your optimal student capacity. And this is where everybody kind of perks up and says, wait a minute, how many people can we put in that building? The number that we really want to focus on lies in the optimal student capacity. And the best way for me to describe that is total student capacity is if you had a student sitting in every single chair every period of the day. That means that I would be the teacher that's on a cart moving from room 1 when that teacher's on a conference to room 2 when the next teacher's on a conference. That is not optimal utilization for keeping your teachers that are so hard to recruit because they don't like having to be shuffled very much, and it does make it very hard. So your optimal student capacity looks lower than total student capacity, but it is hitting the target numbers of where you want to be as far as a district. The way you get to that number is dependent on bell schedule, and so we've used your existing student or teacher utilization rates to get you to that 821. That's a lot to digest on those two numbers, so I'm going to take a pause and ask if there are any questions that I can clarify. All good, we've done our job then. All right. The next one is looking at junior high. The numbers all apply the same in how we do the grossing factor here. You're sitting at your total student capacity versus optimal. Optimal is at about 958, with our target being somewhere around 1,000 for any new junior high buildings. And high school, and we will fully disclose that we did not spend hours and hours and hours and days and days and days looking at a high school perspective because the likelihood of this being updated between now and any time that you would be doing something new on a high school is extremely high. So this is very much just in line with the buildings that you already have in place. So your optimal student capacity looks significantly lower at a high school. The reason being is you have more teachers that are teaching fewer periods. So if you have a coach that is doing 2 athletic sports during the day, that means they're not sitting in a classroom giving core content. And so your utilization rate goes down as far as teachers. What questions can I answer for you? Excellent. All right. Thank you very much for allowing us to work alongside of you. Just another reassurance that should the board decide or the district decide in 8, 10, 12 months that you need an update, you can come back and just update 1 or 2 lines to fit with whatever your needs are.
Thank you, Meredith.
Thank you.
All right, we are now into the open forum session. We are now to the open forum portion of the agenda. If you would like to address the board, you should have completed a public participation form and submitted it to the superintendent secretary prior to the meeting according to policy BED local. After I call your name, please come to the podium and state your name and the purpose for addressing the board. Please understand that you will have 3 minutes to speak. Yet if 10 or more speakers have signed up to speak, the board president shall have the discretion to reduce the time limit to no less than 1 minute based on time constraints and conduct of the board business. If a translator is needed, you will be given 6 minutes to speak. I respectfully ask that you make no derogatory statements about any student or staff of Alvin ISD. I ask that you also understand that the board cannot take action on your request or comment at this time. However, the president or designee may refer the request to the superintendent for review. And just remember, you have 3 minutes and it is time. So first we have Kelly Hopkins.
gonna set my timer.
It's up on the walls too.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you. I'm Kelly Hopkins. I am here to talk about the recent rezoning of the junior highs north of Highway 6, Manville Junior High and Rodeo Palms specifically. Okay. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. As I said, my name is Kelly Hopkins. I have presented SBAC recommendations to this board in the past, and am aware of the rapid growth of the district. But I respectfully request this board to reevaluate and pause the implementation of new attendance boundary zones north of Highway 6 for Manville and Rodeo Palms Junior Highs for 3 reasons. First, the district's demographic data does not project overcrowding at Manville until fall of '27, more than 3 years out. More importantly, your demographic reports show consistent downward revisions. In fall of '22, Zondo Demographics projected Manville would open this academic year at 105% capacity. By last summer, however, those projections were scaled down to 83% capacity, a revision of a 200-student drop in only 3 quarters. This is not an insignificant drop, nor is it related to Iowa Colony, which is not yet open. 3 academic years is a long time from now, and rezoning north of Highway 6 is currently not warranted. Second, the rezoning proposal north of Highway 6 does not adhere to the district's decision principles of keeping neighborhoods zoned to the closest school and limiting the number of impacted communities. Rather, the proposed rezoning impacts 6 full neighborhoods on both sides of 288, pulling 4 neighborhoods out of Manville, sending them to Rodeo, while rezoning all remaining Savannah Lakes neighborhoods out of their closest junior high at Rodeo and sending them to Manville. Savannah Lakes neighborhoods that touch the Fort Bend ISD line will travel more than 8 miles to get to Manville, while their closest and currently zoned school of Rodeo Palms is less than 3 miles away. Third, these new maps are very short-sighted because they only delay projected overcrowding at Manville for 1 academic year, and they contribute to overcrowding at Rodeo Palms. This is a situation that did not exist in forecast projections before the rezoning north of Highway 6. The facts in the maps speak for themselves. The district's demographic data has consistently been revised downward by meaningful levels over the last 4 quarters. As a result, making rezoning decisions for projected overcrowding more than 3 years from now is simply not warranted. In addition, the rezoning impacts far too many communities and sends kids farther away from their closest and current schools. Finally, this rezoning only delays overcrowding at Manville for 1 year and contributes to it at Rodeo. For these reasons, I respectfully request this board to reevaluate the demographic data and the new maps north of Highway 6 and pause their implementation. Thank you.
I may say this name wrong, so pardon me for this. Adrian Twyman? Twyman? Okay, I'm sorry.
Good evening. My name is Adrienne Twyman, and I am speaking also in regards to the recent school district rezoning of communities north of, Highway 6. I'm speaking today as I'm concerned about the recent school district rezoning that significantly impacts many communities. While I appreciate the efforts to optimize resources, I'm deeply concerned about the potential safety and financial implications of this rezoning that it creates. Firstly, the proposed changes would result in an increase in transportation costs for the Lakes of Savannah community due to the longer distance to Manville Junior High. The additional 3 miles added to the commute would require buses to traverse major intersections and highways, including those affected by the ongoing construction on Highway 288. This construction has already caused significant delays and is essential to consider the safety of our students during their daily commutes. Furthermore, the larger commute would force many more students to rely on bus transportation, as walking or biking to their new zone junior high would become impractical. Given the current shortage of bus drivers in the district, This would place an additional strain on resources, necessitating the hiring of more drivers and increasing fuel costs. As you are aware, allocating funds to cover these additional expenses would divert resources away from other critical needs within the district. Secondly, the longer commute would result in students needing to board buses earlier and being dropped off later. Buses would be compelled to take the longer route on Highway 288 and major streets, thereby increasing the risk of delays and accidents. This contrasts with the current situation where buses can utilize neighborhood roads and county roads for a more direct and safer route. Considering these factors, I urge you to carefully reconsider and pause the proposed rezoning plan. The safety and well-being of our students should be at the forefront of any decision-making process. Additionally, the financial impact on the district, both in terms of increased transportation costs and potential risks, should be thoroughly evaluated before implementing such changes. I understand the complexities involved in rezoning decisions, but I believe that collaboratively finding solutions that prioritize safety and fiscal responsibility is crucial for the overall success of our community. I appreciate your time and attention to this matter. Thank you for your dedication to our schools and the well-being of our children.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, we have Robert Taylor.
Thank you for the.
Oh, they have to.
I'm here to talk about student conduct in terms of when there is a conflict between two students, or they, as you call it, mutual combat. My concern is you're asking somebody that's from 12 to 18 not to defend themselves. If somebody hits them and they hit back, then both folks are put in in-school suspension. And that's not fair. You know, we're asking somebody that is 18 or under 18 to control themselves. And we have adults that don't do that. We shouldn't put that burden on somebody that young. Now, I will say that we need to have more counseling. We need to have more security at all our schools, just to protect the new kids. Like, for instance, my son, when he goes into middle school, this will be the first time that he'll be in a school where there'll be a lot older kids than him with a lot different personalities than he's used to. And we teach him, if someone is trying to hurt you or take something from you, defend yourself. Now, as a parent, when I get that call from the school saying, your son is suspended because he defended himself against someone, you know, here again, I'm not going to be happy, and the understanding is if I don't understand what the rules are, I have no means in directing and giving him recommendations before he starts school. So, I mean, one of the things that I would say from a parent standpoint is for the district to have communication with the parents about what the conduct rules are. Because, I mean, you can generically read them and they don't really make any sense. And from my perspective is we need to have better communication so us as parents can help our students, you know, when they get into the higher grades. You know, I'll say this too, I was very concerned to get online and just look up Shadow Creek High School and you see the big brawls going on. You see all these fights going on and throughout the district. And I know you guys are doing the best you can, but from a parent standpoint, how can we help you calm that down? What can we do? You know, I hear the stories of, and the reason I say this is because me and my wife have friends that are teachers in the district, and they tell us how their day are. Because here again, my investment is in the schools. So I'm going to look and going to see how I can help him get around the problem areas. So the one thing that I will say, because my time is going down, that please communicate better with us. Let us understand the rules. Help us work together, because I really say that there shouldn't be a mutual combat rule.
Thank you. Give me just just a second here. All right, we are now into the consent agenda item, A through I. If anybody'd like to pull those separately, please let me know. All right, do we have a motion to approve consent
Earl,
agenda?
real quick, I just want to, mentioned this during the workshop. I just want to point out F. This is just instructional materials. I just want to give thanks. I know that, for the teachers, anyone listening, anyone in the room, I know that a lot goes into, your involvement in choosing textbooks and instructional materials for our students. And I know personally the extra time out of your normal day, since, I think these committees met between September and October to get to this point of us approving instructional materials. And I just want to thank the teachers for the time y'all put in the effort to get, to where we are. So thank you guys.
All right, do we have a motion to approve consent agenda items A through I as presented?
So moved.
Trustee Harris, second by Trustee Garza. Any questions or comment? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next, we have request to consider approval of 2024-2025 Alvin ISD academic calendar.
So Board, the District Education Improvement Committee, what we refer to as our DEIC, which is comprised of teachers, parents, and community members, collaborated over several meetings to create the 2024-25 Alvin ISD academic calendar. The committee members went through a process of collecting data and input from parents, district staff, community members, and then reviewed the information at their December meeting. Parents, district staff, and high school students also had an opportunity in November to submit a survey with questions about the draft calendar. The committee used all of the information gathered to create the recommended calendar for board approval. This calendar includes 172 student instructional days, 77,000 instructional minutes, and 187 teacher workdays.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the 2024-2025 Alvin ISD school calendar as presented?
So moved.
By Trustee Johnson. We have a second by Trustee, I'm sorry, just went blank, Trustee Scott. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. All right, next we have request to consider approval of innovative course, team sports officiating for a local high school credit.
So Board, the course would give students an opportunity to learn how to be a sports official in Texas. This would allow students to work cooperatively with individuals and groups and practice officiating. Students would become qualified to officiate UIL and other athletic contests, giving them a source of income while assisting in addressing the official shortage and serving their communities. This course would cover all sports offered in Alvin ISD. It would be a local elective, and the course would be piloted next year to determine the interest.
President Humber, I just want to share, I shared a little bit in the workshop, but I think in line with the theme of the night, this is providing a great opportunity for our students to pick up a skill that they can take with them forever. Not all athletes and students are going to be able to compete at the college level. Not all of them are going to go to college, but if they move on from the Alvin ISD school district area and into their adulthood, they can volunteer at local organizations. We can, this can encourage them to get involved in their communities and be compensated for it. I encourage any parents or students that are listening or watching, you guys need to take advantage of this. This is a great opportunity, and it's, I commend our district for being able to offer something of this nature. I know I can't go back and get my COVID year like they do in NCAA, but if I could, Rory, I'd sign up for this class. Coach Bass, yeah.
Well, just
Next
to tag
ref.
along with what Trustee Johnson said, learning the skill in high school, but as we talked tonight about CTE and employment post-high school, becoming a TASO official can carry with you for many years. My husband was a high school official in football for a long time, and he loved it, and it was a great source of additional income for our family. So, my athlete probably might not have caught softball had she been able to have this course because she loves any type of competition. And she'd been on that football being a referee, I can promise you that. She's not afraid. So I applaud athletics for bringing this to us. I just think it's a wonderful opportunity for our students.
I think indirectly too, my wish is that we would find a newfound respect from the students as it relates to the game and the coaches and everybody that's involved in it. When these kids have to do it, you know, just like when they say they wish they were grown, my kids are in college and they come home and I give them grown chores. They don't want to be grown anymore, right? But I think if you have to call balls and strikes or throw a flag on your friend, but do it within the integrity of the game, it gives you a newfound respect, and I think that would improve all of our athletic experiences here, with at least within the district.
The life lessons learned are huge.
Sure.
Yeah, I think there's also a lot of kids that, right after the last class, they just go home, and and this is just another great opportunity for them to engage with school and community and teachers and other kids, and I think these things are fantastic.
And do we have a motion to approve the new athletic course proposal for 2024-2025?
So moved.
Trustee Selsey, second by trustee Johnson. Any questions or comments?
I do, just real quick, and this may be preliminary. When we go to pilot this, do we have an idea of where this is going to be?
We're in those discussions right now.
Gotcha, all right.
I think it's TBD.
The flyers will be up tomorrow.
Yeah.
The flyers will be in the cafeteria tomorrow.
Lots of heads up.
I will say kudos to our staff because we're always looking for innovative ways, just like Ms. McLaren said earlier with the esports. We had a team go out last year to Alvin ISD, who has esports, and really kind of see what that looked like, how many students were interested. So we piloted it as an after-school program last year, and this year you're going to see it in course guides. So thank you, Coach Bass, Mr. Gesh, CTE, for always looking for innovative ways to hook kids into school.
Yes.
And also
One last question. With it being piloted next year, is there going to be kind of some marketing kind of through this semester to have students start thinking about it? Okay.
All right, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Thank y'all very much. Next, we have request to consider approval of Alvin ISD Educational Specifications Version 1.0.
Okay, board. So you saw the presentation this evening by Stantec, Ms. Wasick, effective for all capital improvement projects beginning in November 1st, 2021, and thereafter, all Texas school districts are required to create written educational program documents which guide the design process of new facilities or major renovations to existing structures. These documents are referred to as educational specs and are strategically aligned with the district's vision, mission, and educational goals. They are to be included as a portion of the overall long-range facility master plan and made available to design professionals prior to commencement of any capital improvement project. The educational specifications are to be reviewed and approved by the District Board of Trustees. Plans expire every 5 years and are to be updated within that timeline. Stantec architects, working alongside our district administrators, collected information in order to establish the standards for future district facilities so that the district will be in compliance with the new TEA mandate. And FYI, they did not offer any funds for this mandate.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the Alvin ISD Education Specification Version 1.0 as presented?
So moved.
By trustee Garza, second by trustee Selsky. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next, we have request to consider approval of award of contract for remodel to Manville High School Servery.
So board, as we mentioned during the workshop prior to this meeting, the Manville High School Servery is in much need of an update to be in compliance. We received competitive sealed proposals for the servery upgrade. After review and evaluation of those proposals, Construction Masters of Houston has submitted a proposal for $3,208,000 for review and acceptance by the Alvin ISD Board of Trustees. Some of these dollars would be used from Child Nutrition Fund, which is federal fund, and then the other from our local fund.
All right, do we have a motion to approve a closed seal proposal amount of $3,208,000 for the remodel of the Manville High School Servery and allow the superintendent or her designee to execute the contract to Construction Masters of Houston?
So moved.
Trustee Peterson, we have a second by trustee Garza down. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next, we have request to consider approval of employment of personnel.
So board attached is a list of employees recommended for contract for current openings, and/or they may be working for us and they got their certification, so therefore they can receive their contract.
All right, do we have a motion approval be granted for requested personnel items as presented?
So moved.
By trustee Harris, we have a second by trustee Scott. Any questions or comments? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next, we have request to consider approval of administrative appointments.
So board, this is really just an announcement because once the committee did interviews, they are recommending for Miss Barbara Bennett Elementary School a current sitting principal, and that would be Miss Monique Gadsden. She's currently serving as principal of EC Mason. She previously served Hood Case Elementary as a counselor for 7 years, and she was assistant principal for 6 years, as well as, at Hood Case, and as well as at Walt Disney for 2 years. Prior to her time in Alvin ISD, she taught 3 years at Meter Elementary in Pasadena. She has over 21 years of experience in education, 18 of those in Alvin ISD. So I just wanted to make the announcement, Ms. Gadsden, to open our new school, Barbara Bennett Elementary. Now stand up. Stand up, Monique. There she is. Congratulations. You are going to do a great job. And no, you can't start recruiting tonight. So you got to get with Miss Presley and Dr. Bersenio and no. So the next appointment is also currently a sitting principal. So for Iowa Colony Junior High, the recommendation is Miss Cammie Day. Miss Day is currently serving as principal at Laura Ingalls Wilder Elementary. She previously served Alvin High School as an associate principal, Shadow Creek High School as an assistant principal, and opened Shadow Creek High School when it was new as an assistant. Manville Junior High School as a teacher and an interim assistant principal for 1 year, and also a teacher, science teacher at Rodeo Palms Junior High School. She also served as schoolhouse operations support and middle school science teacher for Florida Virtual Schools for 5 years, and she has over 18 years of experience in education, 9 of those serving Alvin ISD. So we're proud to announce that Ms. Day will be opening Iowa Colony Junior High School. Stand up, Ms. Day. Did you bring family? You go. Okay. Oh. Congratulations. Wow. Oh. Who cannot know Ms. Kwan's handwriting? Congratulations to both you and Ms. Gadsden. And I will just say that that's the beauty of having such strong leaders in our district, is that when our interview committee came back, they're like, we've got our 2 selections right here, so we don't even need to go outside. So thank you, ladies, for stepping up and in the excitement of opening a new campus.
And with those 2 great announcements, I'm going to make a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
By trustee Peterson. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. We are adjourned. Thank
So,
y'all
board,
very much.
Do not forget to come and get your goodies. And ladies, if you'll stay for pictures.